Ah. Yes. Now wait a minute. You guys watch like the radio host when they introduce a new song, and they do like the 30-second. You know what the 30-second bumper is?
No.
It's like they have like a little like here. This is what they do. I'm gonna try to do it on the podcast here. All right. Let's see if I can get this right. All right. Here we go. Ah yes. Welcome to Q100. We're in studio today. It is sunny. I have 70. I hope you guys are enjoying that.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're professional.
All right. And we're going to play some more music. And we're going to kick it off with the Black Keys with Fever.
Yeah, so you do it right before the vocals kick in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You guys don't want to try that?
No.
All right. Let me try it one more time. All right. Let me try it with our podcast. Ready?
We can do it.
All right, let's go.
All right, ready? Ah, yes. Welcome, everybody. It's the Matthew and Erica Show.
Welcome.
Yes. It's a family show today. We got our good friend Daryl here.
Daryl.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
I'm ready for some family fun.
Yes. It's Sunday night. Beautiful day we had today. And let's kick things off with the Black Keys with their song, Fever.
Way to go. That was good.
That was good, right?
You're professional, yeah.
Thank you. Well, I am. I am professional. All right. Shut that off abruptly. All right. So here we go. Welcome everybody to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone.
It is Sunday. It was beautiful today.
Yes.
Wasn't it? It was beautiful yesterday.
A little bit of that fall weather coming in. You can feel it
so
coming
good.
in. Yeah.
So
Can't wait
good.
for that.
Guys, you can't be remarking about how beautiful the weather is when it's September 11th. We need to be hyper patriotic and somber,
this is
okay?
true.
Keep talking.
We need to masturbate to pictures of the troops. We need to have that American fever.
I don't know who that was, but here's a little Black Keys with Fever.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah, anyways, yeah, what do you say to that happy September
I know.
11th? What do you say? Merry September 11th.
Yeah.
Well, about 30 years from now, people are just it's gonna be another holiday, and people are gonna be saying, "Hey, happy 9/11!
Buy your mattress.
Never forget."
Buy your new mattress.
And somebody who's like, 20 at the time will be like, "Forget what? What happened on September 11th again?"
Right. Yeah.
Actually, I do think.
Do you guys remember? I hate to be like.
Yeah,
thing,
I do remember.
You guys remember where you were?
Yep, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I was. Let me say, I was in school, and I was in history class, and I remember somebody, I think another teacher, another student, rushed in our classroom, and was whispering something to our teacher, and then but the bell rang, and then we heard it later, my next class, so that's how I heard it. It's just like I heard it. I remember I was just thinking.
Did they tell you, or how did
Yeah,
you
they
hear about
told. I remember they told me, and then I just remember. I don't remember that much, the person telling. I just remember, because I lived super close to my high school, and I
You
remember.
were in high school?
Yeah, I was in high school when it happened.
Oh, okay.
I'm older than you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting you're older than me.
Edit that out.
We're in our 30s.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But yeah, I remember that, and then I just remember going home, and I remember my mom was there, and I just remember them the nonstop. That was my first introduction to nonstop media of coverage and everything, and yeah, I just remember then on it was just we were glued to the TV. So.
What about you, Daryl? Do you
remember where you were?
Yes. I was a junior in high school, School had just started, a couple weeks earlier, something like that. And this was a year we started doing late arrival days. And so on late arrival days, me and a few of my friends would go to my buddy Zach's house. And we'd just, screw off until it was time to go to school, or try and think of excuses to just ditch for the rest of the day. My mom had called me earlier that morning when I was about to head over to Zach's. She said something happened in New York. I was barely awake. I thought she said like it was a massive power outage or something like that. I was like, okay, so, something happened in New York. People are freaking out about it. And I walk into my buddy Zach's house, and he's just like, he points to the TV, he says, "The Pentagon is on fire." And I was just like, what movie is that? And he's just like, this is not a movie, this is the news. And I was just like, quit messing with me. The Pentagon. And he said, yeah, and in New York, 2 planes just flew into the Twin Towers. And I was like, is that the Empire State Building? And he was just like, no, the World Trade Towers, the big towers in New York. And he showed me a postcard from one of his family members that lived in New York, and he's just like, those. I was clueless at the time. I was just a 17-year-old. I didn't, I was only concerned about what was going on in my own life and my own social circle right then and there. And I was just like, so who did it? And, later on they just, had these ominous pictures of, bearded guys, and they're just like, they're the enemy, and we're going to war with terrorism. And I was just like, I'm thinking about what I know about.
Didn't we invade like the wrong country too? Like we invaded like a country that wasn't even responsible for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember when the Michael Moore documentary came out, Fahrenheit 11. And when that came out, I don't know when that came out, but like I was still like very like religious back then, and like because that's how I grew up. But like I remember going to, I don't want to say the church, but like I would go to this one church a lot, and but like I remember still seeing that and still be affected by that, and still thinking like, yeah, that looks like an interesting movie documentary, and they got like all this praise, like how he was like dissecting what really was going on then. And I remember I saw it with some friends of mine who were like religious and like Christian and stuff like that, and like I remember like when we were leaving, like after seeing it, we would leave to go to our we were gonna go out to eat afterwards, and I remember being so pumped up, like, man, that Michael Moore is like great, and like he's doing all this stuff, and I look at my friends, they're like, isn't that great? Like, what do you guys think about it? And they're all just like they're so nice and like sweet, but like they just didn't want to like say
bust
anything.
Your little bubble.
Yeah,
that they
like
didn't agree with you.
Yeah, like, and so like they were just like saying like, yeah, it was good. So where are we gonna eat? I'm like, I was just so pumped about like
you wanted to...
yeah, like that. I was just so pumped about like, man, that was so good, and like and raw, and like like they showed like all this stuff that was like super sad and super like I just had all these emotions, and I remember playing like this like political music. I was like bumping it in my car. I'm like, yeah, guys, you with me? And they're all like, no, not really.
Yeah. But
that's how I remember.
That movie came out 2004, right before the election.
Yeah, I think it did. So. But Erica, what would you remember where you were?
I do. I was in 3rd grade, and at public school, what happened? I distinctly remembered it. Like I remember seeing my teacher whispering to another teacher. She came into the room, and they were discussing, and then the teacher went to the front of the room. She said, okay, everybody, it's time to be silent. Like, we're just no talking. And she just turned on the television. We had a TV there, and she just turned on the news. And we couldn't talk at all, and it was just playing, and I didn't understand well, because I saw the buildings going down in my mind, because I was so young. To me, it just looked like, like when they tear down the buildings, like they have the big bomb and they tear down the buildings. That's what it looked like to me, to my little mind.
Right.
So I didn't understand. I didn't understand at all, like, why this was so important or why people were freaking out about it. And then I remember going home and, like, my parents were watching it. They were just, like, glued to the television.
Yeah.
And it was just, like, this feeling of just silence that, I'll always remember. And I remember asking, I was like, why? I said that out loud. I was like, why is this such a big deal? And then my sister goes close to the television. She says, do you see those little dots? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, those are people jumping out of the building. And that just, like,
wow.
blew my little mind. I was just like, wow, that's what I understood. But it was definitely, that was definitely a moment in my life that I won't ever forget about that.
It's it's like one of it's like one of those things where, like, previous generations had their moments, like, where were you, like, when John F. Kennedy died,
the first,
or when like people remember, like, we're in
the moon, or
or even like John Lennon, like, when he got shot, people have that in their mind. Like, I remember exactly where we were, and, like, the other thing I think is so crazy. It's just, like, people who were people are born. Because when did we go? When did we go to war? Like, we actually went to war 2004, right?
I think it was March 19th, 2003.
Yeah. So isn't it crazy that we had people who actually are born into war? Like they were born, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, teenagers now. Somebody who's 15 nowadays has never known an America without being at war with terrorism.
Yeah, like that's their whole life.
Wow,
like,
15.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Like 15 years old.
I don't know, but yeah. So I actually want to play something here, guys, if you don't mind. So I'm gonna play something. If you guys don't know who Jimmy Dore is, Jimmy Dore is he is a comedian, and he's a true progressive too, and he's been on, like, the Young Turks, TYT, and he actually started a podcast, which some of his friends, like, way back, like, when nobody was really doing any podcasting, and now he has his own podcast, and it's called the Jimmy Dore Show, and he really is a true...
I've actually met him before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, at
really?
an American
Wow.
Atheist Convention. I believe it was in either Austin, Texas, or Salt Lake City. He was. We do a comedy show at the convention every year, and he was one of the performers at the comedy show, and he just picked me out from the audience, and we basically joked around about Ray Banana Man Comfort. Have you heard of that guy?
No.
Basically saying that evolution is a lie because a banana fits perfectly in your hand. He's one of those YouTube televangelist people that really hates atheists. And his people were at the reason. Well, I'm digressing, but I met Jimmy Dore. He was really funny. And he even gave me $20.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey,
Which
tell
I
that to your
promptly spent
grandkids.
on beer afterwards.
Yeah, so he's like, he's a funny comedian, and I've been a big fan for him for a while, and he has his he does the thing on TYT, where he's like part of the guest, and he has his own thing on his own podcast, the Jimmy Dore Show, and so if you go on YouTube, you just type in Jimmy Dore Show, and there's a link for his podcast. He has, like, these videos, and I want to play this, guys, for you, and it's just, he talks, one of the things he talks about in this clip is the media, the quote, like, media, like, reporters, but I just want to play this, so. say.
Where's our intern? We need help. We need help. Kyle, where are you?
Kyle, where's that coffee?
Chris Wallace, the bad Wallace from Fox News, has been chosen to moderate one of the presidential debates. Now,
Good choice.
yeah, in case you don't know who chooses the presidential debate moderators and who makes up all the rules, the candidates themselves make up the rules. So, corporate tool over here, corporate tool over here, we pick moderators that aren't going to upset our corporate toolness, and that's what happens. It used to be run by the League of Women Voters, and then the parties took it away. They're like, wait a minute, this smells a little bit too much like democracy. So they got rid of it, and now the parties pick people. So now it's all corrupted. So they're not real debates. That's why it's all BS. So Chris Wallace, the bad Wallace on Fox, he's one of the guys who's going to be hosting one of them. He got interviewed about it, and let's listen to the question first.
There are, as you know, Fox critics out there who say, oh, it's a right-wing network, it's a network that favors Republicans. Does this help dispel that perception by building on the work that you and Megyn Kelly and Bret Baier did during all the primary debates?
Well, I'm going to play that real, because I can see Robert's mouth is open. He can't believe what he just heard. I'm going to play it one more time just so everybody knows what we're talking about. This is Howard Kurtz. Howard Kurtz works for Fox News. Why? Because he used to host a show called Reliable Sources on CNN, and he had to leave that job because he filed too many stories that were unreliable. And so now he's at a hack working at a right-wing organization spewing propaganda, which is what they do. It's already been scientifically proven that the more you watch Fox News, the less informed you are. So that means they're not actually doing news, and what they're doing is propaganda. Howard Kurtz, here's his first question.
There are, as you know, Fox critics out there who say, oh, it's a right-wing network, it's a network that favors Republicans. Does this help?
You know, there's critics out there who say, oh, Fox News is right-leaning and they favor Republicans. Those critics are known as the world. Those critics would be known as...
See, and I want to say something here. I would give Fox News so much more credit if they just... Because they're so obviously a conservative point of view, and like...
And sometimes not so obviously.
Yeah.
The people who are...
I would have so much respect for them if, like, they said, like... Because, like, the whole thing is, like, people would say, like, you guys are known as trying to be conservative, and, like, a lot of people would try to say, like, no, we're just, like, remember they had the thing about we're trying to be fair and balanced. Mm-hmm. I would just give more respect to them. They'd be like, yeah, we're conservative. Yeah.
Right? We're conservative. This is a conservative bent, and this is propaganda.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Like, and like we have.
It's the fact that they don't do that, which makes me like. It's not even that they're conservative that I frown. It's that you try not to.
Right.
Like
I would just have like. I would just be like, good. At least they're owning up to it instead of trying to pretend. But anyway, so let's go like this.
I'd just like to point out, I'd never met that guy. I must be thinking of somebody else.
Jimmy Dore? Oh, yeah, that guy?
Yeah, I've
Here's
never.
Somebody else?
I think I might have been thinking about.
Why don't you just say it is because it makes a better story?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be. I don't want to be a liar.
Yeah.
I've never met that guy. I think the guy I'm talking about is John Doerr.
To keep the story.
Oh yeah, there is a John Doerr too.
John Doerr. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
No one even at your own news organization would deny this. What kind of garbage is Howard Kurtz trying to...
And we should know Howard Kurtz is a media critic.
Howard Kurtz is a media critic, doesn't understand that Fox News is in the tank for Republicans.
Yeah.
Doesn't get it. Doesn't get that they're more of a right-wing news propaganda spewer. He's the media critic, Howard Kurtz.
Is he from America?
2 words, Jimmy. Bob Beckel. All right? Liberal through and through.
And this guy doesn't get laughed out of parties when he goes to parties or he shows up at a news thing. No one just laughs right in his face, like you should. Because Howard Kurtz has zero integrity, no dignity. He's a propagandist and a complete liar. He's a hack paid for. There's no parallel to this in the media. Even Bill O'Reilly wouldn't say this stuff. They go, yeah, we give the different perspective on the news. Because the mainstream news media is all liberal. We're going to give a concern. You can't even give that. Howard Kurtz.
Maybe Chris Wallace is sexually harassing Howard Kurtz.
Maybe he is.
All right, so
Good clip.
yeah, so you guys like that?
Yeah.
1 second.
Wow.
There's a. Let me just say something.
To be honest, I'm like at the point though where like I mean we were talking about this beforehand, Matthew, but like I'm at the point where this stuff doesn't even surprise me anymore. You know, it's just kind of like, well, and like to a certain point, I know the truth needs to be out there where people like him need to be, calling people out on stuff like this.
Right.
But then there also needs to be, I don't know, it needs to be more balanced. I think
Yeah.
more
Well, they're
need
like-
to actually do something.
And it's like, we're, people like us who are like, we are passionate about politics and, stuff that is going around and our, around our neighborhood and around, and just in general.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there are people who, who are super busy, who just don't have time, obviously, or, they're working.
Mm-hmm.
And the mainstream people or,
Right.
the 1%, the people who actually are trying to like corrupt whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they take advantage of that,
Yeah.
like that thing,
That
like
vulnerability
yeah, it's
of,
like
they don't have time to research
Yeah,
and stuff
and
like
they're-
that.
they're
And they
taking,
think they're
like-
getting news, by just like
Yeah.
I see
They
what you
just
mean.
give them the headlines, and headlines are often very misleading.
Yeah.
and then it's just like with like this presidential thing with Trump and Hillary, they're just like, they're just like, all right, well we want these two people, these quote, billionaires of people like who have a shit ton of money, and these are the two we picked to run our country,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't like it, it's too bad. Like it's like they almost like they're picking that, we almost had like Bernie Sanders, who was like this, who was going to charge a revolution and start something, a movement. He did, and he was going to be a president who was actually going to do that. And they're like, no, we can't have that right now, or hopefully one day we will have that. But it's just like, so it's like, no, either Bill or either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. It's just like, and it's just
Yeah.
like, and if you suggest somebody else or Jill Stein or somebody else,
Yeah.
it's just like you're gonna get laughed at or.
Well, you guys were talking about that in the last episode you and Alex were on, right, Daryl? About like how like if you're a third party or something that you really can't get on those shows for some reason, or they just don't. I don't know. Alex was saying something about that. I know it's in the.
Well, yeah, they
episode
just don't
somewhere.
want they don't want that because it's part of like what they're trying to divide. It feels like they're trying to divide us. Like it's easy like
Yeah, of course.
with the whole like
There's
Democrat
no
or
alternative.
Republican.
They never give us an alternative.
Right, and I personally, I don't want to speak for you guys because I'll speak for myself. I don't even consider myself a Democrat. Like I choose myself as to be a progressive person, and I choose issues that I feel that are holding up to that.
Yeah.
And so like the whole thing of like when people say, oh, so you're people think because the issues I say, so it's like, oh, you're probably a Democrat and you're probably gonna vote for Hillary, right? Like people who don't know exactly
Yeah.
what's going on in politics.
Right.
It's like no, like I
Yeah.
don't like. It's just like but they take advantage of that for people who are super busy with their own lives and kids and everything like that.
Yeah.
There's people like, hey, I know that you don't really like Donald Trump, but he is a Republican, and you
Republican.
you voted Republican before, so you got to vote for this guy.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's a part 2 to this, and I'm gonna play it.
Wallace, who got chosen to host one of the presidential debates, if he's going to be fact-checking during the debate.
Not making it about you.
Yeah, so sorry, he's Mike
So
Wallace.
Chris.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We need some waiting music. As I get this.
Yeah. Well, there's crickets outside. There's
Yeah.
literally crickets outside
Yeah.
right now.
I don't know if they can pick that up, but yeah. But yeah. So Chris Wallace is, I guess, he's going to be one of the debate people for for
The moderators?
Yeah, the moderator. Thank you for the debate with Hillary and Trump. And I think this is the thing on Fox News where they interview Chris Wallace, like saying like, "Hey, how's that gonna go? Like, are you ready?" All that stuff, and so.
Media critic asked Chris Wallace, who got chosen to host one of the. You would think that a news person, media critic, asked Chris Wallace, who got chosen to host one of the presidential debates, if he's going to be fact-checking during the debate.
Not making it about you. On the other hand, there's a lot on your shoulders, both in terms of the question selection, but also as they go at it, let's say Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, what do you do if they make assertions that you know to be untrue?
As a newsman hosting a debate, when someone during the debate says something that you know is false, what do? I don't know. I've never hosted a debate. I'm going to say I let my viewers know that what he just said is wrong
Right.
and false. You would think that a news person whose job it is to inform people who are viewing, that's why they hire a news person instead of Chuck Woolery. Right? The reason why they didn't get Pat Zajac, they got a news person. Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just hire someone who's why wouldn't they get Ryan Seacrest to host a debate? Everyone likes Ryan Seacrest. He's very affable and he's good on camera.
Yeah,
Right,
I
for
like
real.
that. Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest is too serious a journalist.
A little too serious because Ryan Seacrest actually might call a lie. Whereas we know Chris Wallace will never do that. Why?
We know this because he didn't. He hosted some of the primary debates.
Yeah.
He never called anybody on their shit.
Here's his answer.
It's not my job.
That's not
I do
Nice
not
job.
believe that it's my job to be a truth squad. It's up to the other person.
It's not my job to be a truth squad. I love how he uses a disparaging term for fact checking.
Yeah, squad.
A squad. I'm not a truth.
So and they're gonna explain it probably better than I could, but like, it just shows like how corrupt the system is when it comes to like if this specific thing entirely, where we're supposed to have this honest debate thing, and it's just like it's all for show, and it's just corrupt. Like they pick somebody who's gonna moderate the thing, who is so they had the Matt Lauer thing, and now they have Chris Wallace. And it just shows like how corrupt it is with like they know they want somebody from Fox News who knows is going to be soft and not well educated, not a real person who when we're watching it is going to be like, no, Trump, that's wrong, and this is actually true, like hold their feet to the fire, or
So
Hillary.
let me just stop you for a minute, okay? Because when you think of it that way, it's really frustrating. But think of it this way. How much of that is really corruption and how much of that is the evolution of culture? Like, think about, like, America and everybody trying to be polite and, when someone doesn't tell the truth, in front of you, it's kind of like an awkward situation. It takes someone with a lot of guts to be like, hey, you're not telling the truth right now.
Are we in a culture of dishonesty? I mean, is this
of
culture
being polite? Yeah, I feel
but
like America has that.
Does it go beyond that though?
Right.
I feel like it can go beyond, but what I'm saying is, I feel like a lot of it is cultural. You know what I mean? And that's not something you can blame on just one person. For not being honest. I just feel like I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm blaming one person. I'm blaming that there's thousands of people or whoever behind the scenes people are making sure that the system we're having keeps going with misleading people and everything, and like and like with people actually got on with the Matt Lauer thing, where that wasn't a debate thing. They just had like
a town hall.
Yeah, they had a separate thing last week, I think, but it was I was surprised they actually got on him, because when I mean people got on him, I mean the corporate media people, like the CNN and MSNBC, like they actually were saying like, yeah, he kind of did a bad job, and I was surprised they actually said that, because and like you see him like saying like he did kind of go after Hillary a little bit, but I guess he was super soft with Trump, and his answers were so, oh my god.
Yeah.
But anyways, but like it was it was, like Matt Lauer, he was just like saying like, he was just like, they got to make sure like, oh, we gotta go to break, like we're running. You answer this like within 1 minute, give me your best answer in 1 minute, whatever, like that. This is like, if this was like a real democracy or a real thing, they would be like, all right, we're gonna go to break. My producer's telling me, I get that, all that work, but when we do come back, I want you to answer that question, more in depth, But it's just like everything's, is timed and everything is just like. He's like, we got to permit,
It's entertainment. They want ratings. To elaborate on what Erica was saying is it's part of the culture. It's not only part of our culture to just not call people out on their shit. Like, you ever meet somebody who's telling you an obviously false story and out of politeness, you don't look them straight in the eye and say, you're lying to me. That's not possibly true.
Right.
That's true too. But another thing is, they want ratings. They want entertainment.
And that's definitely American thing. If the candidates get the money.
So if the candidates aren't allowed to lie and say outrageous things on that debate stage, then the ratings aren't going to be as high. If the candidates know that they're going to get called out on their crap, they're just going to give boring answers and hope that the Americans will tune out. But if they're allowed to, just say anything they want, then ratings are going to go through the roof. We're going to hear sound bites of Trump saying some ridiculous garbage. You're going to hear sound bites of Hillary flatly denying true accusations against her. And, people are going to tune out.
Yeah.
So then, like, a solution, like in my mind would be, would it make any difference if the news shows the corporations that own them, if they had to be non-for-profit, not getting any money. Because right now it's for-profit, I believe, you know what I mean? And so it is all about the ratings. Right. But yeah.
But there's also shows on YouTube and stuff like, the Young Turks and other stuff where like, there is a lot of people who are watching that and are still, they get a lot of views and like a lot of people are paying attention to that. Yeah. And for some reason, the media on television is so old-fashioned in the way they do it.
Because they're still getting ratings, so why, they still feel, and there's no reason to fix the system if they can't find, if they're still getting the ratings, if people are still, so it's up to us, it's again up to us to do these podcasts and,
But so let's go back to this.
Truth Squad. Look, I'm not on the Truth Squad or the Thought Police or the Stasi. You know what I'm talking about.
Like it's like because we associate it with Death Squad. That's kind of the main thing people think of in that term. So so truth and death are comparable in his mind.
Truth squads.
Yeah.
Death squads.
Some roving band of armed truth squatters.
I'm not part of the gotcha media that asks questions and actually expects factual answers. Those people.
Like you're my father. I'm not like my father. I have daddy issues, and this is why I don't ask follow-up questions or challenge anybody.
Very nicely put, Jim. Yes. Yeah, his dad was a real journalist, Mike Wallace. He did stories about, the military and how they're corrupt and lying and stuff like that. And he took down people. That's not what Chris Wallace does. That's not what he does. In fact, it's not his job.
It is the opposite. I mean, what Chris Wallace does is prop up people that he wants to prop up who shouldn't be propped up.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, constantly giving a mic to Donald Trump is propping up Donald Trump. I mean, it's the opposite of what Mike Wallace did with his career.
So let's listen. Let me see what else he has to say.
To catch them on that. I certainly am going to try to maintain some reasonable semblance of equal time. If one of them is filibustering, I'm going to try to break in respectfully. And
so that's nice. So if If someone goes over their time, then I'm going to put my foot down. But if they're lying and misleading the country, I'm going to let it go.
Look, if we're up against a commercial break, I'm cutting that guy off.
That's what
Yeah,
Matt
I'm
Lauer
cutting
did.
to my
That's
advertiser's
what he
time
did.
on the show. It's unbelievable. This is where he's going to put his foot down. That's why we hired you. You know what? We would have called the guy who shoots the gun off at the Olympics during the track meets if that's what we really needed. It was a timekeeper.
I know a couple of open mic hosts who are pretty good timekeepers.
Very good. We should get Bud Friedman. Man, that guy kept that evening at the Improv tight.
Hell yeah.
Nobody goes overtime.
He might get in the way of selling catheter tips.
So that's his job. That's not my job. I got a truth squad. I've got a truth squad. I'm a journalist.
And by journalist, I mean timekeeper.
Yeah.
And by journalist, I mean timekeeper. Let's say, and he said this a little bit later on in the same interview.
But I don't view my role as truth squatting. I think that's a step too far, and if people want to do it after the debate, fine.
But during the debate, there should be all the lies we can stomach.
That
It's
is a
amazing.
bridge too far.
Bridge too far. Afterwards, sure. But when it's actually happening, when most people are watching, how dare you fact check someone? How dare you call a liar a liar? How?
So he's saying, did you get? I don't know. It was just mind blowing to see that. It was just like, well, not mind. It was not surprising, but it was just like, he's like flat out. He's not even pretending. Like, yeah, I want to deliver hard questions. Like, he's not even pretending to be like a fake person. And then when he goes on, he'll do his stick, whatever.
Most rational, intelligent people nowadays know that going to CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or any of those mainstream media sources on the national level, it's just entertainment. It's cable TV. We should really stop treating any of these people like real journalists.
Yeah.
We should treat the people on CNN the same way that we treat the people on Fox News. This is not real journalism anymore. This is just simply attempts to get better ratings, to get more profits for their shareholders.
Yeah.
They're doing a job, and their job is not to inform the people, it's to make money.
Right.
And like part of it that's difficult, like, for people who aren't aware that, that's just entertainment and actually see it as news, is that it's the aesthetic of it, like them in their business suits and the way they talk, they talk professionally. And if you are not focused on what they're really saying, it's hard to observe, what Jimmy Dore is observing with all the lies and stuff, it'll just go over your head,
Right.
So it's just like, I don't know. It's like, what's the solution for that?
The solution is, whenever you have a big corporation that's really doing something that you disagree with on an ethical level, what do? You boycott them. So, if we all just turned off CNN, if we all just took the CNN apps off our phones and the MSNBC and the Fox News and all that sort of stuff, if we just stopped giving them what they're doing is they're creating a product. That product is the presidential debates. The debate commission is a private corporation.
Yep.
The whatever media outlet is hosting it is a private corporation. So really, these presidential candidates, this debate, this whole event, this whole pomp and circumstance, it's just a product that they're trying to sell to whoever's buying. And the way we buy is simply by flipping on that channel, simply by clicking on that video, simply by downloading that app. Sometimes I'll turn on CNN just to be like, okay, what silly thing did Trump say today? But every time I do that, I'm contributing.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like, stay away from it.
Yeah, don't watch TV. Yeah, I don't watch TV. That's why I was kind of nervous doing this, because I don't even pay attention anymore, because it's like, all this stuff. But yeah, it's like get your news from alternative sources. You know, I don't know, YouTube channels, YouTube.
Yeah.
What else would be good? Other sources.
People may disagree, but I think that BBC and PBS.
Yes, I would say
they're
so.
publicly funded sources of journalism, and they're not as sexy as the mainstream media, so they can get away with telling you a little bit more truth than the average media outlets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I fell in love with was one of the things when I started getting into politics was the Young Turks, because it was just like I was like, why isn't everybody doing it like this? Where they have like they report the news like you would see on CNN, like they would say this happened, whatever, but they would have a dialogue. They would have a conversation. Like it would be there's no teleprompter, between them. They would say, and then they have like all these, papers with them, like with evidence proving actually this Democrat didn't tell this true, or this Republican lied, and there's no censorship. Like they don't have to worry about like sponsors or anything. Like it's just like, why isn't everybody trying to do like? It's
because it's the same answer that me and Derek,
when they started out, were they making a profit off of it? Were they doing it to make money? They were doing it because that was something that they were passionate about. These were activists. These were real journalists, not somebody just trying to make a name for themselves, trying to put some bucks in their bank account. These are just real people, and maybe they make a living off of it nowadays, but that's because they've been around for quite some time, and it took them a while to gain the popularity that they have today. Because I remember seeing one of their videos as far back as 2010, and people today are coming up to me and saying, "Hey, do you know who the Young Turks are?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But and also, I just wonder, like, when did that become more like? Didn't news used to be like
not for profit? I think.
Like didn't like the news like local and like like back in like the 50s and 60s, like wasn't there actually like real reporters out there and like. You know what I'm saying? Like
no, definitely the 50s that was propaganda time. That was total propaganda.
No, I'm saying like wasn't there a certain like a couple people on television like actually trying to like be honest with because like when we only had like 4 channels, whatever.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So everybody was like watching like
one
news. I'm just thinking out loud here. I wonder when that stopped being like because obviously there's.
I really don't think it ever really was. I feel like when television, I don't know. I feel like television was always kind of corrupt and they want you to think a certain way. I don't know. I thought.
I mean, Orwell's book 1984 was written in 1948, so obviously. If that was a critique of journalism at the time, with the Ministry of Information and everything, I don't know, viewers at home, read that book, 1984 by George Orwell. You really should be ashamed of yourself if you haven't read that book. But yeah, I mean, there's always been journalists out there like muckrakers and things like that want to
always,
uncover
all throughout
the truth.
History,
And there's always been, since the institution has existed, there's always been, journalists that are just trying to be sensationalists, that will just make stuff up that are really just, they were trying to sell newspapers, back before TV. They were trying to sell, ratings when radio and television came on, and now they're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get you to download their app. It's really up to the consumer to pick and choose which sources of media they consume and how they get their information. There's really, we can't be lazy about this, guys. There's some people that just, they don't want in-depth analysis of the news. They just want the headlines. Well, you're not going to have an accurate perception of what's going on in the world if you just read the headlines.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk about. You went to the rally in Chicago.
I did not.
The for the pipeline. I mean, oh, you didn't?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh. Well, we're going to talk about that. Well, then I guess can we edit this part out?
Yeah, sure.
No, what was it? Did you go rally a couple days ago?
I was in Naperville protesting the TPP. The last
was I talking to somebody else when I did that?
Today at the meeting we had several people talk about the protests downtown and the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Do you want to talk about? Sorry, do you want to talk about the meeting we had?
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, we're gonna take a break, and we had is it called? It's the
DuPage County Progressives.
And it's a meeting you guys have once a month.
Yep, second Sunday of every month. College of DuPage Cafeteria in Glen Ellen, SRC 1140.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna talk about that, and so
hold tight.
We'll take a quick break.
Quick break.
I've been trying to do it right. I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed.
All right. So we're back. So yeah, Daryl, you want to talk a little bit how that went today?
Okay, so I've been on the show a couple of times to talk about DuPage County Progressives, which was formerly DuPage County for Bernie Sanders. So I won't go into the long version, but we have a group that it's a network of volunteers. We meet once a month. We're involved in a lot of political activism within our community. People like me and Alex, who are organizers for this group, we work for the DuPage County Democrats, or we're precinct committee persons for the DuPage County Democrats. But we also have friends in this DuPage County Progressives group that are from the Green Party. We have friends from a Socialist Action, and we just try and get people involved at whatever level they feel comfortable, as long as they get involved.
And then you're canvassing right now for Liz Chaplin, right?
Liz Chaplin
and
Michelle Gale, and Steve Swanson.
Steve Swanson.
Yeah, one thing we've been doing lately is we have a few candidates at the county level that pretty much share the values of our volunteer network, the people that really liked Bernie Sanders' message. These candidates, they're not career politicians, they're not in it for money, they don't really have any money.
Right.
They just want to do good for their community. Liz Chaplin is running for the county board in District 2.
And she was there at this meeting.
She was at the meeting. She spoke at the meeting today. She's a highly competent and qualified individual who she stood up to the Water Commission for clean water. She stood up to the county board as one of only 2 Democrats on the county board to fight to get to cut their salaries and pensions. Why? Because they don't work full time. They collect bloated checks, and then with a pension you get paid for the rest of your life. So somebody could hold a 2-year or 4-year position and end up getting paid for the. That sounds sweet, right? But not when it's coming out of the taxpayer dime, and all you have to do is 2 years of service to your community, and it's not like the military. Yeah, it's not like you're going into the military and protecting your country. You're going into this position. You're collecting money, and you're only required to do 20 hours a week of work, and some of these guys aren't.
And
even did
you say like you talked to some conservatives and you were saying like were you saying that with
Yes. What we've been doing is we've been since our county level party doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't have a lot of resources. We've been piggybacking off of this group. I think they're a PAC. I don't know. Called Illinois Victory, which is the Tammy Duckworth campaign, but not the Tammy Duckworth campaign for some sort of campaign finance laws reasons, whatever. They we got a guy on the inside who says, you know what, you can use our very sophisticated voter targeting software and our methods of data collection and to basically, have a strong ground game out there for your county level candidates. I mean, some of us have access to some of the same software as Illinois Victory, but they don't have that, we don't have that big network of paid individuals behind us. So we get to piggyback off of, I don't know, some people might not consider this the best method. I really think it is, just because we don't have to form as a financial entity ourselves. We just, they cut us the walk list. They tell us where to go, where voters are needed, and or where we need to get out the vote. And it's been working. And right now, we've been knocking on a lot of leaning Republican doors. Now, on the national level, Republicans and Democrats, they just have, tunnel vision. They'll just vote along party lines. But if you tell a Republican that the current elected officials are collecting money and not doing any work, that language resonates with them, and I don't need to tell you why. You can guess why. And when you're talking about financial issues, it's a lot easier to talk about than social issues. I'm not asking them to support single-payer health care, but I'm asking them to support a candidate that wants more accountability and transparency with the way that their taxpayer dollars are spent. And this candidate, once they go on to bigger and better things, might end up being in a position where they can support, where they probably will support issues that are near and dear to Bernie Krat's heart. So, it's kind of Machiavellian, as Alex would probably call it, where sometimes you got to speak out of both sides of your mouth, and some people see that as a bit dishonest. But as a business owner, I really do. I pay taxes. I really do care about where my tax dollars are coming from, and I can talk turkey with these people without mentioning anything about all the social issues that Democrats or progressives and conservatives argue about. And when I'm talking to the highly progressive people, I can say, well, this candidate is a real progressive, supports these certain issues. So you got to tailor what you say. If you're trying to get votes, you got to tailor what you say depending on your audience. And some people might see that as talking out both sides of your mouth. I see it as just being strategic.
That's not dishonest. Like, it's honest. because those are the facts, right? Because as long as you're giving the facts, I don't see why that would be considered dishonest. It's only when you manipulate the truth to,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't see that as, being dishonest. But I can see where they get that, but yeah.
Well, when I'm talking to, I'll omit certain things when I'm talking to certain people, and, omission is seen by some as a form of dishonesty. All around, I like to think of myself as a mostly truthful guy. I mean, you ask anybody, if you ask my opinion of something,
honest.
you ask my opinion of something, I'll say straight out, without sparing anybody's feelings of what I think about something. So I'm honest in that respect. If a voter straight up asks me how I feel about a certain issue that I was trying to avoid talking about, I'll be absolutely honest with them.
And so, do you guys know when your next meeting is going to be?
We have them the second Sunday of every month, 1 to 3, College of DuPage cafeteria.
So that is, let me look that up on the calendar. That will be October 9th.
October 9th.
October 9th.
Yes. And what time?
1 to 3 at the College of DuPage cafeteria in Glen Ellen. That's in the Student Resource Center, room number 1140. All are welcome, and we just want anybody that's interested in the local movement, interested in getting involved. You are welcome, even if you have no experience as an activist whatsoever. This can be your introduction. Activism doesn't have any sort of prerequisite other than enthusiasm and passion.
Right.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention one thing here, guys, is that I might be going to this thing they're having in Chicago. It's at City Hall, and it's for the CPAC. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the community control of the Chicago police. And I guess they're supposed to be having a council meeting with the mayor and everything like that. And he said that he's supposed to have like a press conference thing. I believe next week, and that's never happening. Like he just lied about it and talk about like the corrupt, Chicago police and stuff like that, like what he's gonna do, helping, to stop it, whatever. And I guess that's not happening. So people from the CPAC organization are gonna be disrupting his meeting, I guess, and protesting. Peaceful protesting and demanding that they focus on the corruption of what's going on with police, and and there's great police out there, but there's also a lot of shit ton of corrupt things that are going on, and the way that they're treating the African American community and the Latin community, and all different types of people who who aren't liked. But so they're trying to do that. So it's going to be we're recording this podcast on the 11th, but it's going to be Wednesday.
This Wednesday?
Yeah, this Wednesday, the 14th, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 12, and it's at City Hall. And so if I do go, I'll try to do a live Facebook thing.
Yeah, so this episode is not going to be on the 11th, obviously, or this week, but if you're listening to this now, go check our Facebook, and the live feed should be on the page somewhere.
Yeah.
About that, if you're interested.
Yeah. So check that out, and I just wanted to give that quick plug, because Black Lives Matters, and
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter, people.
And I said that, and like I said before, and I'll say it again, because not maybe not listens to every episode, where people who say, well, don't all lives matter? It's just like, yes, of course all lives matter, but we're talking about a specific, there's facts that are in that black people are being, treated not the same, and
these are facts that
Yes.
African Americans and other minorities are treated disproportionately by our criminal justice system. I know Bill Riley's got some cooked statistics floating around out there that you can easily memorize and quote back at us. I'll tell you right now, those statistics are bullshit.
Yes.
Just look it up for yourself. DepartmentofJustice.gov. Look up these statistics yourself. You will see that institutional racism, this systemic racism, is real. I am sick of debating its existence.
Well
Yes,
said.
well said. And if you want more information on the CPAC organization, just go to stoppolicecrimes.com. That's stoppolicecrimes.com for more information. It's one of the, right after I started getting political with Bernie Sanders stuff, this was actually the one of the first rallies I went to after my first rally for anything political was a Bernie Sanders thing in the city, and this was the second thing, was with the CPAC, and it was mind-blowing, and it was educational, and it was peaceful, and people were just amazing, and trying to get the word out. Just all they're asking is to stop killing them, and
look, this benefits us too. As as a former pot dealer, I have been mishandled by the police before, and probably am only still alive because I am white. But still, I would like police, that don't threaten my life over selling a dime bag to one of their informants. That would be nice. Added that in there. I sold pot in college, got in trouble for it. I hope that's not too radical.
I don't know, I wouldn't say so.
And I later became a legitimate business owner after that, and that was my first real business venture.
So you're saying that Breaking Bad was based on your life?
No.
Just kidding.
I didn't even kill the mice in my attic when I was growing pot up there. We actually had me and my partner, who actually ended up becoming my future business partner in the legitimate carpet cleaning business. We had a debate over whether we should use fatal mouse traps or catch and release, and we got catch and release.
Aww.
I'm just basically saying that Daryl's the one who knocks. Anybody watch Breaking? These two guys look at me like they don't know what.
No.
Breaking Bad.
No, Breaking Bad is my favorite television show of all time.
Daryl is the one who knocks. Anyways, so I think it's gonna be pretty much it, guys.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys wanna? Any last things?
No,
anything
much.
you want to plug besides the
Daryl?
meeting coming up, Daryl?
It's.
When do you think this will air?
Well, this is going to be the third episode,
Yeah.
so I would say not next week, but the week after. So in 2 weeks.
So is there anything after 2 weeks coming up? Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Let's see, what's today's date?
Today's
okay. Michelle Gale, candidate for county auditor.
Yeah, Michelle.
Fierce Bernie Krat. I believe she's been on the show, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she's going to be on this show at a future date.
We're gonna try to get her.
But anyways, her and Steve Swanson, who is running for representative to the state legislature in District 48, they are having a joint fundraiser at the Brick House Pub in Downers Grove, 6 to 9 p.m. Suggested donation is $35. Now look, guys, we don't have money. Our candidates don't have money. We just need the signs, the campaign lit, and maybe some gas money for our candidates to go driving around talking to voters. So this.
You said it's $35?
$35.
Okay, so this is what you do. Instead of buying a coffee every day, save that $5-7, and then you'll have $35 by the time the event happens, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, please, if you felt compelled to give to the Sanders campaign or, one of those groups like Our Revolution or Brand New Congress, you know what? Skip that payment. Your local people need you.
Yeah.
Look, we're dealing with a Republican machine out here, a Republican big money network that is going to crush us if we really don't get all the volunteers and all the resources that we need. So please, September 27th, Brick House Pub, Downers Grove, 6 to 9 p.m., $35. If you could do more, please do more. We need you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And every Saturday up until the elections, we are going to be knocking on doors for these candidates, and we're going to be meeting at the DuPage Democrats office.
And is this for anybody if they want to knock on doors too? Can they come, or is it only for...
That's a tricky question because it is the DuPage Democrats office, so if you're going to be walking for somebody, it has to be a Democrat, for somebody running on the Democratic ticket. It doesn't need to be, obviously you don't need to walk for Hillary Clinton. I'm not walking for Hillary Clinton. You don't need to walk for...
You're not with her? That's their slogan. I'm with her.
I am with her, and when I say her, I mean Liz Chaplin, and I say Michelle Gale. I'm with them, and I'm with the. I don't care about the presidency anymore.
Yeah.
Bernie's out of the race. Trump is not going to win. Daryl,
I gotta cut you off. You gotta be. I'm with her or Make America Great Again.
Look, the presidency. That's, it's important to vote for that, I guess. But look, you need to show up for the down ballot candidates.
Yeah,
you know what? Even if Bernie
starts
was still
at the lower levels.
Even if Bernie was the nominee, I would be walking for my down ballot candidates.
If you're disappointed with Trump and Hillary, it starts with the local politics. So
bottom
get
up.
out there,
bottom
up. So
aside,
just to make sure that doesn't happen again, start with the local politics. So by the time we have another president, we have someone that we really like. So
we're trying to create thousands upon thousands of Bernies all across the country, but it's got to start somewhere. Look, it's the long game. We got to move from the bottom up. It would have been nice to have Bernie at the top, and he is at the top. He's the most famous senator, U.S. senator in the world. Let's appreciate that, okay?
Yeah.
The guy is been made very powerful after this run for president. And if there's anybody that I actually think should have power because they will use it wisely, is Bernie Sanders. And let's give more people like Bernie that power. Because when we're giving them power, we're giving ourselves power.
Absolutely.
Yes. It definitely starts with the local politics and getting people like Liz Chaplin and Michelle Gale, who are true progressives and great people that we need in office.
And, definitely.
And,
they're very needed in office.
Yes.
Every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., 1000 North Rollwing Road in Lombard. That's right next to Brower House for you rockabilly punk people, whatever kind of music they listen. It's the place where all the cool kids. It's right next to the bar where all the cool kids go.
Why did you look at me when you said that?
Well, I was just I needed to look in some direction, and I probably ended up accidentally making eye contact with you.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for listening.
Listening to the Matthew and Erica show, and hopefully you guys will tune in next time. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Jimmy Dore.
Jimmy Dore. Who I've never met.
thoughts about you nearly every night this week. How many secrets can